Steve Parrish didn't smoke until he started working for Philip Morris at age 40. This was 1990. Cigarettes were the main order of business at the company's headquarters on Park Avenue in Manhattan, just south of Grand Central Station. The conference room tables were adorned with ashtrays and bowls filled with packs of cigarettes. The ceilings had fans to disperse the smoke. The walls sported images of the Marlboro Man and Virginia Slims, and the company's other iconic cigarette brands. When Parrish traveled to Richmond, Virginia, where a Philip Morris factory 3 football fields long turned out 580 million cigarettes a day, it was all smoking all the time. From the receptionist who would take a slow drag before she greeted you, to the free packs that visitors 21 and older could take home, along with a bumper sticker that read, "I support smokers' rights." Parrish was the general counsel of Philip Morris, where it was his job to defend the company in public and in the courts at a time when cigarettes were under attack, and that gave him lots of stress to deal with. Cigarettes soothed his nerves, though there were other aspects of smoking beyond the nicotine that he found compelling. "There are times when I like fiddling with the cigarette before I even light it," he explained back then. "There are times when I like to see the smoke go up. I like the sensation at the back of my throat." But the most notable thing about Parrish's smoking was how often he didn't. He didn't smoke at home. He didn't smoke on weekends. Now and then he would light up in a bar. But outside of the company's offices, he felt no compulsion to smoke, which seemed at the time to contradict the idea that cigarettes were addictive. He was not alone in this. Surveys found that 1 in 5 smokers had 5 or fewer cigarettes a day. Some even skipped days altogether. This phenomenon helped form the bulwark of Philip Morris's defense against efforts to hold the company accountable for smoking-related deaths. As dangerous as cigarettes might be to one's health, how could they be called addictive if millions of people used them so casually? At least, that's what the company argued back then. Philip Morris had lawyers on staff who compiled thick dossiers on addiction to use as talking points in court. Some of the studies they collected presented smoking as a matter of choice, in which weak self-control prevented people from being able to quit. Philip Morris also had staff scientists on hand to counter research that compared smoking to abusing drugs. When one such paper emerged from the National Institute on Drug Abuse, quoting addicts who said it was easier for them to quit heroin than cigarettes, a Philip Morris researcher wrote a rebuttal that called this a false equivalency. "What does this statement mean?" the scientists scoffed. "Do heroin abusers find it difficult to give up soft drinks, coffee, or sex?" Philip Morris also had a chief executive who in 1994 was willing to climb Capitol Hill and in front of cameras and under oath affirm the company's position. "I believe nicotine is not addictive," William Campbell said in that highly publicized appearance. He was joined at the table by 6 other tobacco company chiefs, all of whom readily agreed on this point. Indeed, smoking was no more addictive than Twinkies, one of the CEOs said in that same congressional inquiry, and Philip Morris expanded on this comparison in various forums. When the National Institute on Drug Abuse paper had sought to define addiction as the repeated consumption of a toxic substance with undesirable consequence, the company scientist wrote in a memo, "Many people use sugar, saccharin, coffee, soft drinks, and candy repeatedly through the day, and all of these can be toxic under certain conditions. Does that mean that ingestion of all these chemical compounds produces addiction?" The scientist was getting at one of the more challenging aspects of addiction. People, even experts, may think they know an addiction when they see one. But putting a definition to paper can easily cast such a big net that even water could qualify as an addictive substance, given that the body craves it, and under some circumstances, drinking too much while running a marathon, for example, can fatally disrupt the body's chemistry. On the other hand, the definition could be so restrictive that even some illicit drugs wouldn't fit the bill. The users of cocaine, for instance, don't develop a physical dependence or suffer the pain of withdrawal, which at one time were considered to be hallmarks of addiction.